Welcome to episode 3 of Sibling Rivalry. I am one of your co-hosts, Alex, and as always, I have sitting next to me my
awesome little brother that's super cool and way cooler than her, Taylor. Hey, how are you?
That's what he says, but
it's also true.
It's not true. Actually, it might be true.
I mean, I feel like this is a very subjective opinion, so you guys can decide.
I might be slightly biased. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Welcome to today's show. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started into our regularly scheduled programming. So as we record this podcast, which we're trying to record like 2-ish weeks ahead, like everything that we do, so some of the news and stuff we may report will be like lagging. We did post our first podcast up on our SoundCloud and our Facebook page, so we're super excited about that.
And soon it'll be up on YouTube. When you hear this, it should be up on YouTube.
Yeah, by the time you hear this, there will probably be another podcast, and the YouTube will also have the podcast on it as well. I got super excited because the night that we posted it, we got 9 likes on Facebook.
We're basically famous.
We also got like 8 SoundCloud followers, so I do want to thank anyone that took the time to follow us or listen to any of our first podcasts. Thanks for doing that. Really appreciate it. I was telling Taylor earlier today, whenever I get followers, like on my normal social media, like I don't give a crap, but
we appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's just like really cool. Like it made me really excited. So just so you know, it makes me happy. If you are following those pages, leave comments and questions and random facts about pets. I don't care. Leave anything. Because one of the things we really want to start doing is a listener feedback portion of our podcast at the end, so if you do leave a comment, we will read it on air.
Yeah.
So anyway, so today's topic is part 2 of growing up gaming. So if you were here last week, we had part 1 where we covered systems that we played as we were kids, systems that were mostly released between 1885 to 1999. And today we'll be continuing into the year 2000 onward.
Woo! I thought that added dramatic effect.
It did. We needed that there.
We did.
So I don't know how much we'll be getting into modern gaming. I wouldn't consider that like growing up gaming since we're modern gaming as adults.
Everyone's always growing up, Alex.
I
We're
know.
all kids at heart.
I know. I think we went up to PS3 Wii era. So yeah, newer stuff, we might have some separate episodes for that kind of stuff. And also apologies again if you had an Xbox, because we didn't have Xbox, so we won't be talking about Xbox today.
Yeah, I mean, no one really cares about Xbox anyways, right?
Don't say that.
Alright, we don't care about Xbox. That's more accurate.
Okay. So just once again, how we've been breaking this down, or how we broke it down last time in case you weren't here, was we play the opening for each system. I have some release info, a fun fact about each system, and then Taylor and I are going to give some input about our favorite games, memories, etc. So yeah, let's get started.
Let's do this thing.
So the first system we have is GameCube. The GameCube is a home video game console released by Nintendo in Japan on September 14th, 2001, and in North America on November 18th, 2001. The 6th generation console is a successor to the N64, and it did compete with PlayStation 2 and Xbox at the time. The GameCube is the first Nintendo console to use optical discs as its primary storage medium.
Which is lame because you can't blow on them. Or at least doesn't work as well.
Yeah, once those get scratched, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
I used to think the discs were so cute, though.
I mean, especially if you're like me and like you just don't put them back in the case and just like throw your discs everywhere. Cartridges were much more messy, person-friendly.
They were. Yeah, I've bought my fair share of games on discs ever since discs became popular, and you get home and they don't freaking work.
Honestly, I probably haven't bought a disc since like Wii.
Really?
Because I just digitally download everything.
I bought a disc the other day.
I mean, unless you count like CDs for like music, but not for games.
I like having like the physical like box.
See, I appreciate that, but I don't trust myself enough to keep everything in like good condition.
I feel ya.
And also, when you have it digitally, you just always have it.
True.
Yeah.
All right, so some popular games for GameCube, which honestly there are a lot, so I'm just going to ramble some off. Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Super Smash Bros. Melee, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which was also on the Wii, Super Mario Sunshine, Mario Kart Double Dash, Star Fox, Luigi's Mansion, Pikmin, Tales of Symphonia, and Kirby Air Ride.
My God, that game was so good.
Kirby Air Ride was awesome.
Only City Trial, though.
Yeah, City Trial was the shit.
That was the shit.
My fun fact about GameCube is one game of Animal Crossing on GameCube has the horrifying potential to last up to 29 real-time years.
What do you mean, like content-wise, or like, do you don't know?
I don't know.
Because I feel like that's true for a lot of open-ended games.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure that...
You could play Minecraft for like 1,000 years if you really wanted to.
I know. I might have to do some more research on that, like what happens at 29 years. Like, what is it?
It probably means like the calendar goes like 29 years long.
Because
it has like an end-game calendar in Animal Crossing.
So what happens when you like get to the...
You can't play anymore.
It just stops.
Yeah.
Like,
it only programmed 29 years into the game.
The world is over.
So that's probably what that meant.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what are your opinions on GameCube, man?
Fucking dope as shit, yo.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I agree.
N64, which we talked about last week, and GameCube. Those were just like the two deities of the console world.
I agree. Those two are the epitome of my childhood, like just playing awesome games.
Like N64 was God, then like Sin is like sundown, like Jesus, which is the GameCube to like die for our sins. Like they were just that good.
Yeah, I truly believe, and we'll talk about this a bit more when we talk about the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
I think the GameCube was the last good system by Nintendo.
Also, it was like the last like period of time before PC kind of like really took off for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Because back in GameCube days, gaming was more like console specific, and PC was more of like a niche thing. After GameCube, like Wii onwards, Wii onwards,
right?
PC and Steam especially kind of became more mainstream, and people like me stopped playing consoles.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because as I was doing my research for this episode, I was like, I was writing down games for like PS2, Wii onward, and I'm like, yeah, these games are on multiple systems. Like, and that's something that was kind of cool about systems like GameCube is it was only for that system.
Well, that's kind of Nintendo's shtick, though.
Yeah.
Even nowadays, you're not going to play Super Mario Galaxy on the PC or like any of those games, really, you know? Mm-hmm. Whereas with PlayStation or Xbox, like most of their titles, except for a few specific console exclusives, it's going to be on PC or even PlayStation or both of them, you know, like everything.
Yeah.
And Nintendo's like, nope, you have to buy our console or else you can't play anything.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's a smart marketing move because that's
It
why
is.
you're going to buy it. So,
Like, if I was going to buy a console, it would be Nintendo related.
So, what do you think your favorite GameCube game was?
All right, I'm just gonna like maybe give a top 3, then I'll decide. So Wind Waker is definitely one of them. Melee, just a quick note, Melee is my favorite Super Smash Brothers game or iteration for sure. And I don't know, I'll just go with Kirby Ride for now. But I feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know.
You want to know my top?
What you give yours first?
Wind Waker, for sure.
Is that your number 1?
Yes.
Wind Waker it's my favorite Zelda game.
My number 2, Star Fox Adventures.
Okay, that's probably my top 3. That's also really good.
Yep. And a third one is hard. I almost have to go with like Pikmin.
Yeah. It's hard to pick a favorite because they're all kind of good in different ways.
Yeah. Yeah, man, Wind Waker is just the shit, though. Like, everyone that, like, is freaking out about Ocarina of Time being the best Legend of Zelda game, props to them, but, oh my god, Wind Waker is the
I feel like Wind Waker just kind of, like, distilled down the Zelda experience, and it added a nice twist with the whole sailing thing.
Yeah.
And personally, I really like the graphic style. So I feel like most people who rag on Wind Waker do it mainly because they just find the graphics too childy, but if you get past that.
I agree. I think that was the major beef people had with it was the cell shading.
But I really enjoy like simplistic graphics. Also, they're way more timeless because like what holds up better, like Ocarina of Time or Wind Waker?
Wind Waker still looks really good.
Wind Waker or like newer Zelda games, like Wind Waker still looks better because that graphic style just never gets old.
Yeah. Yeah, Wind Waker was just so much fun. And the music, do, 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 do. I just hit the microphone.
Yeah.
The like sailing
The
music.
sailing theme is so good. It's just like a relaxing game, you know? Mm-hmm. It's very good.
Yeah. No, that great game is great. Star Fox Adventures. Oh my god.
Lesser well known. Most people I talk to don't really know what that game is.
Yes. Basically, it's like a Star Fox game, but you don't fly a ship until the very end. Like, it's Star Fox walking around, like...
It's like Star Fox mixed with Zelda, mixed with dinosaurs.
Yeah. There's like a dinosaur island you go to, and you get like this little dinosaur friend, and his name is Tricky. Mm-hmm. He's so cute.
And then there's the bay called Crystal, who's, super schmexy.
Yeah, like, really fun game, but you're right, it's kind of lesser known.
It's funny, because like a lot of the like Star Fox fans that I talk to, who are like fans of the series before that, they actually really dislike that game, because... it's not really like a Star Fox game. Yeah. It's kind of like me, how I disliked the new Tomb Raider, because it wasn't really like a Tomb Raider game, but it was still a good game on its own. Because when we played Star Fox Adventures, we didn't really have any previous experience, so we just went to a blind, and we enjoyed it. But if you were expecting a Star Fox game that was more like the old ones, you would have been let down. Yeah. But as an RPG, it was super charming and just super fun.
Yeah, it's a great game. Like, if you can get over the fact you're not actually piloting a ship when you're Star Fox.
Yeah, I think you do pilot a ship at like the very end, don't you?
The last boss fight, you fly a ship.
Yeah.
I remember, though, like, it's really funny because, like, when I was playing it with you, I remember when we had a pilot ship, I'm like, what the heck? Like, I don't want to pilot a ship.
Like, what is this? Why would you pilot a ship in Star Fox? That's so weird. Yeah. I just want to have my staff and, like, have dinosaur friends.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So, yeah, it's just kind of funny, like, going into it. I mean, because, like, I already knew Star Fox, but I actually never played any of the old Star Fox games. So.
Also, random Star Fox Adventure story. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that one area with, like, the arm wrestling?
Yeah.
And you had to, like, mash, like, the buttons, like, super hard, and, like, me and you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So, like, like, our mom was, like, walking by, and it's like, hey, Mom, you want to try to do this? And she just, like, fucking, like, Rambo'd that shit.
Yeah,
and she beat that level for us.
Our mom had to beat it for us. Because it was, like, a button mash. Yeah, button mash.
It was, like, mash, like, two buttons, like, really, really fast. Mm-hmm. And we just couldn't do it.
Thanks, Mom. I know she's listening to this. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, you're the best. That button mashing.
Yeah, we would have never made it through Star Fox Adventures if it weren't for you. Oh my gosh. Let's see. I have a few other notable games. I wanted to talk about Luigi's Mansion.
Oh, there's so many good games. I can't pick a favorite, just for the record.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, though, that, like, I played Luigi's Mansion in one day because I was sick.
Was it the first time you played it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was very sick home from school, and I binged Luigi's Mansion and, like, played the whole freaking game in one day.
I don't think I ever did, because even I've always been just, like, terrified of, like, scary. Luigi's Mansion is not scary at all, but I am just a giant pansy.
Yeah, that game is fun. I always, like, have liked Luigi more than Mario, so I was like, yeah.
It's really clever.
Yeah.
Like, it's very original, for sure.
It's really cool. Yeah, Luigi's Mansion is a good game. I also wrote Pikmin.
So good.
Yeah, and I wanted to, like, bring up the story where... See, Taylor and I played Pikmin. Our dad, like, lived and breathed Pikmin for a while.
At least, like, the first one.
The first one.
He, like, didn't he, like, play it multiple times and try to get, like, the best possible outcome? Yeah. Because, like, how the game works, I think it was, like, 150 days or something.
You had 30 days. You had 1 month.
30 days, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. So you had 30 days. If you, like, didn't get enough parts by those 30 days, you'd be stuck on the planet. Mm-hmm. But, like, you could replay it and try to, like, get out as soon as possible. Yeah. So he would, like, play and, like, try to, like, perfect his run-through.
Our dad knew, like, you didn't have to get all the parts, right? Mm-hmm. So he, like, knew which ones you didn't have to get, and then he would only prioritize getting the ones you actually had to get.
The ones that are the fastest to get in each level.
Yeah, and, like, he made it out in, like, 10 days or something like that.
I think it was below it. It was, like, 7 or 8 or, like, something. It was ridiculous.
Right. He beat that game, and, like, it was crazy. It was insane. So, yeah, our dad is the Pikmin master. I put one of my bullet points here as quote-unquote the doorstop, because we had a GameCube that stopped working, and then it became a doorstop.
Yeah, we got a new one, because obviously you have to get another
So
GameCube.
we bought 2 GameCubes with our lifetimes.
Yeah. Melee was awesome.
Melee was great.
Like, it's just, it was perfect. Because, like, personally, the whole, like, Smash Ball thing and all that, I wasn't a huge fan, but... Next.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. The PlayStation 2 is a home video game console that was developed by Sony. It is the successor to PlayStation and the second installment of the PlayStation lineup of consoles. It was released on March 4th, 2000 in Japan and October 26th, 2000 in North America. So some games that came out on PS2, and once again, this is kind of when things used to be like released on multiple systems, but a lot of Grand Theft Auto games. My personal favorite, Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2.
That's like, when you say PS2, that's pretty much the entirety of what comes to mind.
Yeah. I put Metal Gear Solid 3, Final Fantasy X. That's another one we played. Two of my personal favorites, Resident Evil 4 and Silent Hill.
Horror game. That was the beginning of her sickness.
Yeah. Silent Hill 2 and onward, because Silent Hill 1 came on PlayStation. All the Persona games. I put Okami in here. That's another one that came out. A lot of stuff.
Was Okami the wolf one?
Yep, that's the wolf
Where you like didn't really draw like stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never played it, but I knew it was cool.
Yeah, I know lots of people that did like it. So yeah, so lots of really good stuff. My fun fact, and I have two fun facts for PlayStation. Oh. One of them just because I personally love these two series, so I made it a fun fact. So Devil May Cry started out as a Resident Evil 4. The producer, Shinji Mikami, felt it strayed too far from the survival horror roots and gradually convinced all the staff members to make it an independent game.
Well, aren't you glad he did that?
Yeah. The story was eventually rewritten to be set in a whole new world full of demons, and the hero's name was changed to Dante at that time.
It's a fucking badass.
Oh my god.
Alright, white hair Dante or brown hair Dante?
I like both. I know.
Pick one, 3 seconds.
White hair.
Okay.
Because that's original.
Okay.
That's like classic. But I didn't think that I was going to like brown hair Dante going into DMC, but I ended up loving him.
Yeah, and it seems cool.
I was going to be like, I was like one of the super picky fans.
Again, they changed my favorite character.
Yeah,
but made him different.
That game, I love DMC. Like, if you like hack and slashes, freaking play DMC.
If you'd like to mash the A button, play the shit out of that game. Or Kingdom
I mean, there's
Hearts.
lots like combos and stuff, but
yeah,
it's a super fun game. But yeah, like I love Resident Evil 4. It's probably one of my favorite games of all time. And I love DMC, so it's like really funny to me that it was originally the same freaking game. Like
yeah, I have played none of those.
Yeah, I know. So.
My PS2 list is literally Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy X.
Yeah. I lived and breathed PlayStation 2. So I've played a lot more PS2 games than you. But we're going to get into that more in a second here. The other fun fact I had, and I had no idea that this happened, but I thought it was super cool. So do you remember the little, like, when you turned on your PlayStation system, the, like, towers that were in the background?
Vaguely.
So the more games you played on PlayStation, the more glowing towers were added to the console's startup screen. And then the longer you played those games, the higher the towers climbed.
So, like, each, like, tower was, like, a representation of, like, a game.
Yep.
And, like, each tower is a game, and the height is how long you played it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Is that cool? Yeah. Like, I never knew that.
And you probably never noticed it. Mm-mm. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty neat. So, yeah, like you said, I mean, you only played Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy.
I played the games that we, like, played it together, basically. Yeah.
How do you feel about PlayStation 2?
I think that it's my favorite PlayStation. No, actually, I don't know, PS1 was pretty good. It had Kingdom Hearts on it. That's and Kingdom Hearts is awesome.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate it for that.
I love PS2. Like, if I had to pinpoint a system that when I played it was the first time I realized that I was, like, a quote-unquote gamer, it would be PS2.
I think PS2 was, like, your like, first, like, own, like, system or whatever.
Yeah.
It was, like, in your room, and it was, like, yours.
Like, I owned it, and it was mine.
Yeah.
And I bought the games for it.
Yeah.
And
so you felt more personally invested.
Yeah, like, I really love PS2. It's probably my favorite system.
No, I really like it. The controller is awesome. Like, it has a lot of good games.
I do want to set aside a special segment of this podcast to talk about one of my favorite series of all time.
Is it Kingdom Hearts? Yes. I mean, we kind of had to.
Okay, So I played Kingdom Hearts 1. Another time I was really sick home from school, and I remember watching the commercials on Disney Channel.
That was so long ago.
Yeah, for Kingdom Hearts.
The commercials were like so weird. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
And I distinctly remember thinking that Sora was a girl.
I remember thinking that the game looked like shit.
Really?
Yeah.
I was just like...
I'm like, wow, this is just like Disney shoehorned into like some stupid game.
I was just like really intrigued. I'm like, this is really weird. Like, why is there Disney characters?
Yeah. Well, because you know how like usually like movie games are like complete shit. I kind of like had that in my mind, or it was kind of going to be like that.
Yeah.
Like they were trying to like appeal to the franchise, but the game itself was just gonna be like you know, bad. Thankfully, that turned out not to be the case.
Oh God, yeah. But the reason I wanted to play it was because I loved "Simple and Clean," the theme song.
Oh my god, yeah.
I heard that and I was like, I gotta play this game. So I didn't even own a PS2 at that time.
Yeah.
My uncle owned a PS2 and he brought it over because I was really sick, and I went and rented
Yep.
Kingdom Hearts and like played the shit out of it.
Yep.
And I like basically me playing that game, that is what ruined my high school career. Like, oh my god.
That like started your obsession with a lot of things. I feel
Yeah.
like it started your obsession with like cosplay. Because that was your first cosplay, right? It was
Yep.
Kingdom Hearts.
It was.
Yep.
Yeah. So basically, I was like just insanely obsessed with Kingdom Hearts into Kingdom Hearts 2. And like me and my friends, like all my friends, just like all we talked about was Kingdom Hearts. We drew pictures for Kingdom Hearts. We dressed up like Kingdom Hearts characters. Like, oh my god, like Kingdom Hearts was just such a big part of my life.
Yeah, and we played the shit out of those games too. Like we were like max level, like every secret found, like played through multiple times. Like, yeah.
I have played at least 1 and 2. Like more times than I even can count. 2 especially, because I like 2 more than 1. I think it's better.
It's a better game overall.
Yeah, and like all the sequels, like I those are all good. Like I recently rebought the remake of them for PlayStation 3. I forget exactly what they're called, but yeah, I started that because I'm like, I gotta rebeat all of them before Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out.
I think 2 is pretty perfect though.
Yeah.
It's like one of the best RPGs, especially for its time.
Oh, it's so good.
Right.
So good.
It is really good.
I did want to share the story of the day we got Kingdom Hearts 2. So
I remember.
I pre-ordered Kingdom Hearts 2, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
I mean, at GameStop, right? Because that's
Right.
when you bought games back in the day.
And back in the day, the only GameStop we went to was a GameStop that was like 45 minutes away from our house. Because back then there weren't a lot of GameStops, I feel like, and that was one that we went to.
I don't know, because I was a kid.
Yeah. But anyway, like every Monday, our mom would take us to go grocery shopping out at the store because she's like obsessed with health food, and they only had like this health food store.
It was Whole Foods.
Whole
Was
Foods.
the store.
Right, and it was like an hour away. So we went out there the day that Kingdom Hearts got released, and I went in and I got my copy, and I was like freaking out.
No, but like we got it, then we had to like grocery shop.
We
And
had to grocery shop.
I think we were like walking through the store, like looking at the instruction manual,
Yeah.
just like, I want to go out so bad.
I like didn't leave the game in the car. Like I brought the game with me and carried
yeah.
it around the grocery store.
Just like reading the back cover like 10 times.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
Freaking out. And I remember when we got home, like we refused to carry in the groceries.
No, we like literally made like a mad dash, just like to our house, like onto your bed. Put that thing in the PS2.
Yeah.
That was
Yes.
That was a time to be
Oh
alive.
god, like I've like never been more excited in my life, I think, than like when I loaded up Kingdom Hearts 2.
I don't think I've been excited ever as much as I was for that. Like
Yeah.
I get excited for games, but not like I'm gonna like freaking like dash and like run a 10K to go play it.
Yeah.
We were so excited to play that.
Oh god, that game. I love Kingdom Hearts. I could talk a whole freaking podcast about Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love it, and I can't wait. Like Kingdom Hearts 3 is freaking never gonna come out. Like I'm just convinced of that by
There
now.
have been trailers at E3 and stuff.
I know, but like
It's gonna be a while.
It's been so long.
But if you haven't played Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2, you should play them. Because God knows you're going to have enough time
Yes.
before Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out. But it is totally worth it.
Yeah, and if you like handhelds, play the other ones too, because they're pretty good.
But at least play 1 and 2.
At least play 1 and 2.
Because there are a lot of other games. You don't need to play them all.
I think there's
in my
like
opinion.
8 or something. Like, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There are lots of, there's like one video in particular on YouTube, is if anyone is really interested, hit me up and I'll send it to you, but it breaks down the timeline of every Kingdom Hearts game really well. So if you have only played or only plan on playing 1 or 2, watch that video before you play 3.
It's actually really confusing lore-wise.
Yeah.
Because, like, there are, like, people and there's, like, alternate, like, versions of those. It's confusing.
Yeah. It is confusing, but it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
So good. So, yeah, kind of swinging off the Square Enix train here. Let's talk about Final Fantasy X. I mean, that's the other game you played on that, right?
That's the only Final Fantasy game that I have played to completion, I believe. I've never played Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. It's funny because I played Final Fantasy X with you.
Oh, I lied. I did not play it to completion.
Yeah, you stopped at, like, Unileska.
It was like the second to last boss or something.
Yeah.
I almost played it to completion.
Dude, the ending's good. Like, you should beat it. You should just go back and open up your
I'm
own
pretty sure
game
I've
file.
seen the ending on, like, YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, you and I played Final Fantasy, and then I became obsessed with Final Fantasy games. So I actually played Final Fantasy X, and then went back and played, like, 7, 8,
that
or
began
9.
your obsession.
Yeah.
Obsession. Yeah.
Final Fantasy, I have such mixed emotions about Final Fantasy. Because,
in general, or
yeah, because, like, I love the older games up until, like, 10.
I think 10 was good.
Yeah.
I don't really have other frames of reference. I've only played 10.
Yeah.
But as far as, like, an RPG, I really enjoyed it personally.
Like, the newer stuff is good and it's beautiful. But I don't know. It's just
beautiful. A game does not make.
Yeah, it's like okay. Like, I didn't really like.
I didn't like that one we played for a little bit together that had, like, the weird combat system
with Van and yeah.
Like it was like in a desert or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, that one's too political.
Yeah.
And then I liked 13, which is kind of the newest series of ones to come out. But I don't know. It never was as good as, like, any of the earlier ones for me.
Yeah.
So.
I did play Final Fantasy Online for a little bit.
Yeah.
Or
that's
the
really
newest
popular.
online one, which is pretty good.
Yeah. Final Fantasies are just really good, solid RPGs. If you like RPGs and you haven't played Final Fantasy, there's something wrong.
I feel like you should pick and choose, though, if you don't want to play everyone. Like, play, would you recommend 7? Like 7, 8, and 10?
I would, but you have to be, like, they have great stories. But nowadays, the graphics are so dated.
Yeah.
Which I know doesn't matter to everyone.
It depends if that matters to you or not.
Yeah, if graphics matter, don't play them. But if
or
you
wait
don't
till
care...
the remake.
Yeah. Yeah, wait till the remake. We'll see how that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, they're really good RPGs. I mean, my personal favorite Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy IX. The story in that game.
I'll have to play it at some point.
So good. Yeah. It's excellent. And the thing I really like about Final Fantasy IX is the main character, Zidane. I mean, granted, like, Titus doesn't really have, like, the emo, like, angsty backstory going on.
He's more of, like, he seems like he would fit in a boy band.
Yeah. But, like, Titus is just, like, really likable. Like, he's kind of, like, he's a thief. Like, he's kind of, like, sleazy, like, hits on all the girls and everything. But he's just, like, a super likable character. Like, I love Zidane. Did I say Titus? I loved Zidane. He's the main character in 9, so. Yeah.
I feel like the main thing that stood out to me in 10 was the cutscenes. I think that was, like, the best cutscenes I've ever been. Yeah. Because especially back then, we weren't used to, like, super high-quality cutscenes in games. Yeah. And those were just, like, amazing at the time. Like, my mind was, like, blown. Like, the opening one with, like, the big aqua dome where they were playing, like, the... I don't know. What's the sport called?
Blitzball.
Blitzball. Like, man, that was so cool. Yeah. Or, like, the Unititis makeout scene.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's kind of iconic.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's true, though, because, like, those cutscenes were the first, for me, that was the first game I played that was like, oh my God, like, these cutscenes are so good.
Yeah,
like,
so realistic.
Yeah, like, oh, they look like real people. Like, back then, things like that didn't really exist. I mean... No. 10 was one of the first games with stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
that was very impressive.
Final Fantasy, man. It's a good series.
I feel like Final Fantasy's always been known for that. Yeah. Even 7, like, the cutscenes in that game for the time were probably like really good.
It's true, which I think is, and that's what used to make those games kind of stand out because they had good storytelling, good characters, and those amazing graphical.
Yeah,
that's not. I don't know if that's a word, but amazing graphic.
Yeah, like the gameplay was, I'm sure, was good, but like the story and the like graphics and stuff, made it stand out.
But that, like, nowadays, that's kind of why the games don't stand out because
everything else caught up to them as far as like graphics and like stories sometimes, and yeah, I never really thought of that before, but that's really true. Yeah, so because they actually have to make the gameplay seem like unique and interesting. It's hard to do that in today's market. Yeah, it's so saturated. An interesting thought. Yeah.
So yeah, moving on from Final Fantasy, just in general, PlayStation 2 was when I first got into survival horror games. I played all the Silent Hills, I mean, which weren't all on PS2, but lots of them are. All the Resident Evil games, like, that's when I really got into survival horror, which now is probably my favorite genre in gaming.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I played a lot of PlayStation 2 games. Like, I could just list them off. Like,
I can't play survival horror. I tried to play, like, Amnesia, and I just, like, turned it off after, like, 5 minutes.
I feel ya.
The only guy I played Limbo. I did that.
It's funny because I've gotten a lot better at it, but I remember when I first started playing PlayStation 2 survival horror games, I could not play them alone. I had to play them with my boyfriend.
I'm still like that. I could play them with other people, but alone, I'm just like, nope, not worth it.
Yeah. But, I love them. That's the other thing I kind of associate with PS2 is it was my beginning of, like, survival horror gaming.
Yeah, it was the beginning of a lot of things. PS2 was just, like, a beginning into giant nerddom.
Anything else you can think of as far as PS2 goes?
We talked about the 2 games that I wrote down.
You played.
So, yeah.
I could go on forever, but I won't make you suffer through that. So, all right. Well, let's talk about my next system here. The Wii is a home video game console released by Nintendo on November 19th, 2006. As a 7th generation console, the Wii competed against Microsoft Xbox 360 and Sony's PS3. Nintendo states that its console targets a broader demographic than the 2 others. That's one of the reasons why they thought it'd be successful. As the first quarter of 2012, the Wii led its generation over PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 in worldwide sales. With more than 101 million units sold in December 2009, the console broke the sales record for a single month in the United States. Taylor's, like, shaking his head. He's like, ugh. I see how this conversation's going to go about the Wii. So some popular games for the Wii. The number one was Wii Sports.
Well, because it came in every Wii, so that's kind of unfair. Isn't Wii Sports like the number one game like sold ever?
Probably.
Because every time you bought a Wii, it comes
with the game. Probably. Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Xenoblade Chronicles, Super Mario Galaxy, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, Super Mario Galaxy, Call of Duty Black Ops, and Mario Party 9.
Oh, Mario Party 9, yeah, totally. I love that one. Way better than 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1.
God. I just included that because I was like, wow, 9. Like, I know there's like 5 more now, but... Yeah. My fun fact for the Wii, and this was very entertaining to me. So, the announcer in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, who also voices Master Hand, his name is Pat Cashman, who is also the announcer for Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Oh, that's a fun fact.
That is a fun fact.
Completely useless, but mildly interesting.
Yeah, so next time you're watching Bill Nye the Science Guy,
you'll notice that.
Super Smash Brothers. So.
Boo, 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 boo.
Yeah. Now, I do have one positive thing to say about the Wii before we start trashing it.
What? Why was it going to trash it?
I wrote, God bless Nintendo for making this backwards compatible. Can we please start making systems backwards compatible again? Yeah, I don't know. I really appreciate that you could play GameCube games.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because most of the newer systems are backwards compatible now, aren't they?
No. They're not.
Isn't PS4 backwards compatible?
No.
Is it Xbox 360?
I don't know. It might be.
Yeah.
But I'm just...
Or Xbox One,
It makes me angry because sometimes I want to trade in my old system to get the new one, but I can't freaking trade in my old PS3 because I can't play PS3 games on a PS4.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Yep.
So it's like a marketing scheme.
Yep.
And I wish they would make all systems backwards compatible.
Well, the thing is, like, nowadays you can, like, can't you play old games by, like, downloading them, though? Or no?
No. I mean, you can, but you have to pay for them.
Again.
Again.
Which is totally the marketing thing.
Yeah.
Because they want to make money.
So I hate that. So thank you, Wii, for letting me play GameCube games on you.
Good job.
Thank you. What's your opinion on the Wii controller?
I mean, just like the Wii in general, it was just my first in the very long string of lessons that the hype does not always do expectations. Yeah. I mean, it's not horrible, but like you were about to say, the controller, it was a failed experiment in my opinion.
Yeah.
At least it was a failed experiment for like being as good of a controller for a majority of games as, you know, like old controllers were, like GameCube or PS2 or anything else, really.
Yeah.
Like, it was very niche, and it worked extremely well for some things, but in every other circumstance, it was just completely subpar, which kind of just ruined the entire system for me.
Really?
Personally.
But the controller is what killed it for you?
It didn't have as many, like, super amazing, memorable games as, like, GameCube or N64. But I feel like I just had less desire to really play a lot of stuff because like, I just not enjoy using the controller.
Yeah. I wrote, for a casual gamer, the controller was cool, and listen.
I hate casual.
It was cool and innovative, and it was something that... Sorry, I hit the mic again.
Well, that's why it sold so well.
It was something that the market had never seen before.
Yeah.
And it brought in the whole, like, oh, I can move this, and it moves on the screen, and oh my god, that's so cool.
It brought in, like, all, like, the housewives, and, like...
Yeah.
It brought in people who didn't previously, like, play consoles.
Yeah.
And I think it did that well.
I wrote, for the hardcore gamer, it sucked.
It sucked. Like, it sucked.
I never actually used the Wii controller because I plugged in the GameCube controller to the Wii.
I feel like this is, like, part of the reason why I just, like, don't like a lot of the games in the Wii. Or, like, the new Super Smash Brothers, Brawl, right, for example. Like, the game itself was, like, pretty good, but playing it on a Wiimote was just, like, injecting cancer into your veins and, like, jumping off a cliff. No, but like seriously, like it just completely ruined the experience. If you're gonna like play Super Smash Brothers with your friends, you're like, okay, well, do you have a GameCube controller? And they're like, no. We're like, I'm not gonna enjoy this then.
I just remembered, like, when we used to play it, we had like 3 GameCube controllers and the one Wiimote.
Yeah, or like, God forbid, you didn't have like a nunchuck and had to hold it like a fucking brick and like move with the shitty like 4-directional pad.
Yeah,
like it ruined so many things, and it was great for Wii Sports. Like Wii Sports was fun, but you can't base an entire freaking console on Wii Sports.
Yeah,
and it was cool for like very niche games, like Trauma Center, for example.
Trauma Center
was really cool because it was like a medical tool. You could like point the screen and do stuff. But for most games like Zelda or Mario, it's just the Wiimote. It was so bad. And they tried to make it work. I know like for like a Twilight Princess, like they had it so you could like do like motion controls, like raise your shield or something, and like, you know, they like tried to integrate it. Or you could like swing the thing to slash your sword.
I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with you. I have that, you know, I never, like, I was looking at the list of Wii games, and I was like, I never played any of these.
Yeah, it was fun for the niche titles, but for everything else, it was just a flat-out worse experience. Okay, so we had some recording software problems. For some reason, it literally just stopped recording, and we just noticed it now. So we were wrapping up why the Wii was the worst thing that ever happened on the face of the earth. Not really. It was okay. It was a good system. The controller sucked. It was good for niche titles. Everything else was just mediocre. And yeah,
it was good for playing GameCube games.
It was backwards compatible. And it was good for playing GameCube games. So good job.
All right, awesome. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
The PlayStation 3 is a home video game console developed by Sony Computer Entertainment. It is a successor to PlayStation 2 as part of the PlayStation series. Wikipedia. These descriptions make me laugh. It competed with Microsoft's Xbox 360 and Nintendo's Wii as part of the 7th generation of video game consoles. It was first released on November 11th, 2006 in Japan, November 17th, 2006 in North America. Some PlayStation 3 games, there are a lot. I threw some of my favorites on here. BioShock 1, 2, and Infinite. The Last of Us, which I know you love.
Yup.
Destiny, Elder Scrolls Skyrim, Borderlands, lots of Call of Duty games, Dark Souls, DMC, Evil Within, one of my personal favorites, Dead Space. And there's a lot of them. I mean, I could go on forever.
There are a lot of games on a lot of systems nowadays.
So my fun fact for the PS3 is, at the University of Alabama, a group of scientists wired a cluster of PS3s together into a super console capable of running high-speed simulations, and they used it to test black holes' rotational speed.
Why?
I have no idea.
I feel like that's not practical at all.
No, it's really not.
That's like one of the things, like, we can do this, so therefore we're going to do this.
Pretty much. Pretty
funny.
much. I mean, what else do you do at college? Wire a bunch of PS3s together to test black holes.
Yeah.
So I know that you are not a big PS3 gamer.
Well, Nick had the PS3, you had the PS3. I never really played it that much.
Yeah. What have you played on PS3?
Last of Us. Maybe some fighting games.
Okay.
I think that's it.
What are your opinions about what you have played?
Okay, well, let's just talk about Last of Us, because that one's pretty huge, right?
Right.
And that's like one of the big games in the past, like, few years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my opinion on The Last of Us is probably not a very popular one. Alright, first off, the gameplay was extremely mediocre. Like, it was very repetitive. I am personally not a fan of shooters on controllers. Yeah, it's just repetitive and not like that engaging. But I feel like the crux of The Last of Us, why people liked it so much, is like the game hinged on your emotional attachment to the story and the characters.
Yes.
Would you say that's kind of fair?
Yes.
Okay, and going into this, I knew that it was an emotional game. So I'm like, I'm just not going to give a shit about these characters.
When we started, like, Ellie showed up and Taylor's like, I don't give a crap about you.
Yeah, you're just a replacement daughter. You gotta prove yourself. I just don't care.
He literally called her replacement daughter.
Yeah, she was replacement daughter for the entire game.
So, continue.
I also thought it was kind of predictable, like, what was gonna happen.
Really?
I don't know. I didn't find the plot super, like, mind-blowingly, like, plot twisting. Mm-hmm. Either the game wasn't that good, or I didn't let myself get emotionally invested for actually have emotional impact on me. But as a personal experience, it was just okay. And it was weird because, like, everyone was like, this game is like the next coming of Jesus. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this game must be really good.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that was just like a pretty standard shooter with giraffes.
with giraffes.
Yeah.
Here's my opinion on The Last of Us. And I do appreciate yours, because it's honestly really nice getting an opinion of someone who's not, like...
Because, yeah, super fanboying about something.
Yeah. I feel the opposite way. And that's why I made you play it. Was because I was like, yes, I'm going to get Taylor to play a console game.
He's going to love it.
It's going to be one of the best games ever.
No, I mean, all right, don't think this is like me hating it, because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I just have heard such good things about it that my expectations were like, well, it must be like,
right.
This amazing.
I do think... I mean, I did not play The Last of Us when it came out. Like, I did not play it till years later because I didn't get a PS3 till years later.
Yeah.
And when I played it, it met all my expectations.
Really?
I was, like, bawling during half the game. I cried, like, 5 times. I personally really like third-person shooters, and I love zombies. Mm-hmm. So I was like, hell yeah. And I liked the characters. I thought the characters had a really good character progression. Like, Joel in particular. Like, the beginning of the game, he's just like, I don't give a shit about anything. And by the end, I mean, he's like, just him and his conversations with Ellie.
See, because, like, because playing that was like, I was like, I'm onto your shit game. I know what you're trying to do. Because like I was like actively aware of the character progression and like how they were trying to portray their personalities and make them relatable. So I'm like, I see what you're doing.
I think
it's not gonna work.
Dude, I think though if you would have gone into it with no expectations.
If I had like just bought the game on Steam randomly, if it's not like a computer game, but if I had just like played it, maybe I would have felt differently.
Yeah.
But
and that's why we're talking about it. The Last of Us is a really good example of what can be done on the PlayStation 3. And lots of games that come out on the PS3 are really good. They're like that.
I will say that I think they used the system really well. Like, it was a pretty good-looking game for running on that software.
Yeah.
Or that hardware, sorry.
PS3 has been my system up until recently. It took me a long time, but I finally caved in, and I got a PS4 last Black Friday. Woo! And now I'm like binging PS4 games that I haven't been able to play because I haven't had it. But I just, oh my gosh, I love PS3. I think it has great games, great graphics.
You know what has better graphics?
Dude, shut up. It's a mature system. I mean, it's not like Nintendo, like games on it are.
You know it's also a mature system?
Oh my god, dude. We're not. In a second, we're going to start talking about PC gaming, okay?
Okay.
Not yet. Give me my moment here. In a moment, we're going to talk PS4 versus PC. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I've been playing PS3 games up until recently. I love the PS3. I think it has some great stuff on it. Last of Us is definitely one of my favorites. I'm a big survival horror fan, so last year or so when the Evil Within came out, I became obsessed with the Evil Within. If you like survival horror and if you have not played the Evil Within, freaking play the Evil Within. Yeah, and we don't need to get too much into it because this I feel like is more like modern gaming. Like we growing up gaming like have not. We can do like
an episode about stuff we're doing now.
Yeah. So I just wanted that brings me to my next point. I wanted to talk about where we are now with gaming. So why don't you take a second to kind of explain where gaming has led you to, and then I'll take a moment to explain where gaming has led me to, and then we will wrap up.
All right. Gaming has led me to predominantly a lot more multiplayer, a lot more PC based, and yeah, I mean. The beginning of that was a little known game called RuneScape. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of that, but that was the beginning of my descent into PC gaming. So that game was my first MMO, and it was amazing because you could like actually see other people and other friends and go around a world and talk and like battle dragons and mine ore and fish, and it sounds really lame, but it was really cool. So then after that I played World of Warcraft. And yeah, yeah.
You're making fun of me for liking The Last of Us and you're like, World of Warcraft. Go ahead.
Well, okay.
I played World of Warcraft too. It's okay.
Yeah, World of Warcraft Vanilla through Wrath was like the best game ever, and now it's just complete shit, but that's another story. But yeah, so I mean nowadays I had a big StarCraft binge where I was just like super into StarCraft, like I was Masters League / like Diamond for a while. I was watching tournaments, I've played League of Legends, I've played a lot of multiplayer games. And yeah, I just like to play things that are challenging. I like to play competitive stuff. And besides that, I just derp around on Steam and just buy like hundreds of games and play them when I can. But there are too many to talk about. But in general, just PC is where it's at because there's just so many options. Things are cheap. Once you like build a good system, it runs things better than any console can. And yeah, it's just amazing. So I don't know. That's a short summary.
That was a good summary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where gaming has led me, other than when you come over, because Taylor comes over every Tuesday and we play video games together. And we've played some awesome stuff. And most of the time, Taylor plugs in his computer and we like pick a game on Steam and pick something. But I am still console 100%. I love console gaming.
See, okay, but quick counterpoint. There's just... All right, you can defend yourself, obviously, but there's like nothing on console that PC can't do. Because one, like price-wise, you can build a similar PC that has like similar graphics for like the same price. 2, you can plug it into a TV. 3, you can use the same controllers. 4, I mean, the only thing for console really is that there are some exclusives.
I get it. I really do.
Yeah.
I don't have a PC that can game. My PC sucks.
But you could if you wanted to.
I could, but I don't want one. I'd rather just buy the system and be able to lug it between my apartment and my boyfriend's house, which I can't do if I buy a PC.
I mean, you can.
But I'm not going to. I don't know. I grew up on consoles. I love them. There are games I would buy a system for to play the exclusive game on console. Because my favorite games are those games. I do not care for League of Legends. I do not care for World of Warcraft. I do not like MMOs. Like, the only games I play are games I can buy the discs for and put into a console and play them.
I played so many of them. I played Guild Wars too.
So I just feel like our opinions are a lot different.
Yeah, I mean, we have different things that are important to us. It's just, for me, I view it as a waste because buying a console would literally be the exact same things I could do now, except exclusives, but I don't really care about those. So it's just like no point.
I love having a console. Like, I get it. I get what you're saying.
Like, speaking like just like factually, there's not a whole lot on like the console side, you know.
But like, I like it because I can turn it on. Like, you can. Like, all my, like, apps for the different things I do are there, like, Netflix. I mean, I get that's on PC, too, but dude, I don't know. There's just something different about having it on a console that I like. And I can't really explain it.
It's very, I don't know.
Yeah, I know what word you're looking for, but
yeah,
I just like it. And I don't know. Like, I think I will continue buying consoles, but I think I'm only going to buy, like, PlayStation is where it's at for me.
And I might buy a Nintendo console in the future.
Yeah, like, I will never buy an Xbox console. I'll never probably buy another Nintendo console, but I will buy, and I don't buy them until years after they've come out because I wait for the price to come down.
Yeah, and also for me, I love, like, the geeky part of, like, computers. Like, the parts and, like, building it, and, like, I have, like, a GTX 1080 and, like, 16 gigabytes of RAM. And I like to build computers, which is part of it. And yeah, it's just cool. Yeah,
that's just not me at all. Like, I have tried to play, like, MMOs and stuff. Like, I have a Steam account. I can never get into it. Every time I try, I fail. Yeah, because
I feel like multiplayer is, like, better on PC. And, like, I wasn't always like this, but nowadays, like, if a game doesn't have, like, social interaction, like, it's just harder for me to, like, get really invested into it for some reason. Because I want to, like, do things with people and compete with people and show off to people and all of that. Yeah. And, like, I appreciate RPGs if it's, like, really good, or I just want to, like, you know, chill and play something. But for the vast majority, I like multiplayer games.
See, opposite for me, because I'm not competitive.
I'm so competitive.
Like, anytime I've played an online game, it makes me really nervous.
See, because, like, my enjoyment comes from, like, getting, like, an adrenaline rush and, like, outplaying someone, or like, perfecting, like, something, or, you know, something like that.
Yeah. See, that's not me at all. Like, I like stories and I like characters. So that's why I like playing RPGs and consoles that have storytelling games, because I don't care to play them with other people. Yeah. And I just am there for the story and the characters.
Occasionally, like, I'll play, like, Witcher, like, for that reason or something. But for the most part, I'd like to be competitive.
Yeah. See, we're just totally opposite.
Yeah.
As far as which is funny, because growing up gaming, we kind of had the same pathway, but I just think we like different things, so... Cool. Well, I mean, that's a good conversation. I feel like we both kind of represent a different side of it. So, I mean, well, I don't know where you guys lay, but let us know, I mean, what you think about that. I would kind of like to get a little gauge whether people like PC or console. Like, it's really interesting.
Not next episode, but eventually we'll maybe talk more about, like, super recent stuff and, like, stuff we're currently playing game-wise. But if you wanted to talk about what we wanted to do next week... So, basically, we were going to try to do more of, like, a newsy episode, but make it a little more fun. Many of you have probably heard of the site called The Onion, which is basically fake news stories, but it kind of sounds like it could be real, but they're, like, super ridiculous. And there's also a subreddit called Not The Onion, which is true news stories, but it sounds like they could be onion stories, because they also are ridiculous. So we're just going to pick some interesting current articles, and we're going to try to have the other person guess whether they are onion or not the onion, and then talk about them. Yes. So hopefully that will pick some interesting ones. That'll be a fun podcast subject.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to read some of these ridiculous stories. Yeah. And Taylor endearingly named the game.
I can't believe it's not onion. And I was so proud when I thought of that. Like, that's so clever.
I do really like it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. That'll be next week.
Mm-hmm.
As always, if you do have ideas about topics or if you want to be a guest in the show, feel free to hit us up now that we actually have our social media pages up and running.
Yeah,
so
leave some comments, say how you thought about it, any suggestions or criticisms.
So where to find us? Feel free to email us at siblingrivalrypodcast@gmail.com. Please follow or like us on Facebook. Our Facebook is facebook.com/siblingrivalrypodcast. Right now we're posting all of this on SoundCloud, which we are soundcloud.com/siblingrivalrypod. Our YouTube is just Sibling Rivalry. And then soon this podcast will be coming to iTunes and Stitcher. That's all that I had for today.
That's all, folks.
That's all, folks. Okay, bye everyone.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Don't hear me say please, oh baby, don't go simple and please, the way that you're making me feel tonight, it's hard to let go. Hold me, whatever.
Now I'm recording. This is ASMR. Oh shit! Fuck.
Dude, stop ruining everything. The 6th Generation Council is a successor. Now I have to start that whole thing over. It is the successor to PlayStation. Big surprise.
One.
Yeah, PS1.
Okay.
It is the second installment of PlayStation lineup of consoles. Okay.
I don't know why I said one.
Video game console that was developed by Sony. It is the successor to. I'm not gonna laugh this time. Okay.
Okay, no, I'm good. Are you good?
Not good. Not good. Alright.
Do you want me to not look at you? That's making you laugh.
Okay. How many times have we done this? Why can't we get this right?
I'm sorry. Good job.
We finally did it.
We totally didn't have to retake that segment like
No.
5 times.
Maybe you'll hear it in the bloopers.
Yeah.
Holy shit.